Okay, we'll bring this meeting to order. Is there any pecuniary interests? I see none. Everybody got the minutes from last meeting? Is there any omissions or errors?
I have something, I just noticed I was absent, but I was on Zoom in that meeting.
Okay, we'll correct that, okay? Can I get a motion to accept the minutes of last meeting? Thank you. Seconder? Thank you. Oh, I gotta say their names, don't I? Sorry. All right, all in favor? Carried. All right. Mark Kinney. No. Unfinished business. The elevator is still, sorry. Oh, deputations. You may come forward. What's your name? Jennifer. Please come forward, Jennifer.
So at this time, I might, if I can, pass it over to Jen to maybe just give us a little introduction of our presenter today and just kind of explain to the committee the purpose of Jen's presentation today, if that's okay, Jen? Jen and Jen?
This is Jennifer Harvey. She's an educational assistant, and she has created some communication boards that we talked briefly about at our last meeting, where we might think about putting them at our playgrounds for children who struggle with communication. And Jen will be better at explaining this, as a communication tool to help express feelings and needs and wants. So go ahead, Jen.
There we go. Okay. Like Jen said, my name is Jennifer Harvey, and I've been an educational assistant at the Simcoe Muskoka Catholic District School Board.
I'm not hearing
Yep.
you. Thank you.
I've been an educational assistant at the Simcoe Muskoka Catholic District School Board for the last 21 years. And I mainly work with nonverbal students, or from ages 3 to about adult with various needs. And I am currently full-time at St. Mary's School.
Recording in progress.
Okay. So one of the phrases or quotes I really like is "your words matter." And that goes for verbal and nonverbal people, because verbal people need to be aware of what they're saying, and nonverbal people need a voice. So these communication boards...
No, I can't hear you guys. Yeah, it appears that the council chamber's mic is on mute.
Mark, can you hear us now?
Yep, loud and clear. Sounds good, guys.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, Mark, so just to recap, we have Jennifer here to present to us just some information about the nonverbal signage for the playgrounds like we discussed last month, so I'll just let her carry on with that.
So what is a playground communication board? It's an outside board that contains selected pictures and communication symbols to help individuals with limited verbal communication skills. It's considered to be a low-tech augmentative device. The benefits, what I feel to the community would be to foster relationships and friendships, breaks down the barriers of communication. It's great for those with English as a second language as well. It just doesn't have to be for those that are special needs. It normalizes all types of communication. It's easy to model and use. They're completely customizable. It aids in inclusiveness, gives a voice to those that need one, improves empathy and awareness of individuals with special needs, and gives individuals with all abilities a positive, fun experience at the playground. So here are examples of what some of the symbols would look like. There's hundreds to choose from. Like I said, they're completely customizable. I can, sure, yeah, I can change the wording, the color, skin tones. There's non-binary images you can add in there. All the symbols are non-gender, so it's much more inclusive that way.
I think in today's day and age, that's important. Sorry. I was just saying, I think in today's day and age, making sure everybody's inclusive, no matter what, is the most important thing right now.
Yes. And it's easy to do. If there is an image that, or a symbol that you guys are looking for, I can try and create it. You could have letters of the alphabet. The numbers down there is another form of communication. Say the symbol's not there, they could spell it out if they know how to spell it out. So all the images, I am a licensed distributor of the Boardmaker. That's the software symbol, the software program that I use to create the symbols. And they can be fully customized, like I said. The text is editable. It could be in another language. It could be French and English as well. Like I said, the skin tones could be in various shades. And the number of tiles or symbols that you want to use could be varied too. It's totally up to you. You can add titles of the parks' names at the top to change it up as well.
So, is that, like, can you make that so every playground can be fitted out with it?
Yes. Yeah. You're welcome. I created one for St. Mary's School. That's where Jen and I work. And CTV News came and did a little stint on it. And, you know, it made me really happy to see that somebody saw the values in this. And I think it's pretty much about time that we start adding these around in our buildings. Some of the comments I got was, it's incredible and creative idea. They saw this on the news, hope it spreads across the school board. It's a great resource to help kids communicate with their feelings, wants, and needs. It's amazing, and such a great initiative. They love it. So I'm getting pretty positive reviews. This is an example. I know this is the name of what your park is out here out front. I just put some symbols in there that I thought would, you know, make sense. Like I said, I was just trying to give you an idea, but that's typically what the board would look like. So you could have 100 photos. It all depends on what size. So my job would typically be to design it, communicate back and forth, sending you the PDFs to see if you like it, change it as it needs, and then send you off to the playground. So this is actually quite large in the States. A lot of the playgrounds have it over there. I haven't seen it here in Ontario yet. If anybody sees one, please let me know, because that'd be great to see. But here's also examples how it gets mounted. This one here is the one that's at St. Mary's School. That's okay. It's at St. Mary's School. It's mounted right onto the walls. Other playgrounds have the wood posts that they would mount it in as more of a display model that way off the ground.
Through you, Chair, what would be approximate, I know it depends on size, but what would you be looking at from, you know, the bottom to the higher point of pricing, something like that?
I do have a slide on the pricing. So there will be a consulting fee where I design it and send the PDFs back. I send there's two options where I would send it to just you guys, and I don't know if you have a relationship, the town has a relationship with a vinyl printer. Okay, so then you could send that to the vinyl printer, they would print it, and you guys could pick it up, or the other option would be I would go and do it and deliver to you. I just don't install. Yes. I don't know how to do any of that stuff, and you probably have to have somebody to do it anyway.
The cost of this, now, would that go through our committee or go through the town, Laura?
So through you, Chair, I would discuss that with admin to see if that could be potentially a shared cost, since it is a parks initiative alongside accessibility. Perhaps we could look at a joint venture, or we could look to do that completely through the committee, but we would have to budget for it for 2023 or to request an unbudgeted expense for this year.
Okay, so what would the cost be hypothetically, let's say we did this park here when it's finished, for instance?
Okay, so.
Or the one at, where the Y is?
So option one would be the consulting fee. My fee is $50 an hour to start designing them. The final design would be a single-use PDF, and that's $85. So I would send you a PDF. Any additional costs, so if you wanted same design, send it for a different park and maybe just change the name on it, it would probably be about another $55.
Okay, so it's $50 an hour. How many hours does it usually take you to do that?
Depending on the design so I would say roughly 4 to 5 hours.
Through you, Chair, so it wouldn't be too far off to say like, you know, to outfit all of the municipal parks, like $2,000 to $3,000 potentially?
Yes. Yeah. And like you just mentioned that you do have a vinyl printer, so that was the second option.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for this lovely lady?
Good morning, Jen.
Hi.
What has the success been at the school? Have special needs children been using this device, or have you had it long enough to really know?
We haven't had, it just got put up at the beginning of June, so they have been using it. We've been really encouraging verbal students to come and ask our special needs students to come and play with them. Some of the lower communication skills students, they come up and they tell us what's bothering them when they're crying and they can't get it out. They just point to the image, like if they have to use the washroom or they're thirsty or they're hot. It's been received really well, I believe. Jen could probably attest to that. I think that going forward, just because it was so late in the year, going forward for the next year, I think it's there's one on the kindergarten side and then there's one on the intermediate senior side. Going forward, I think in September that there's going to get used quite a bit. So that's the hope anyways.
Good, thanks, Jen.
You're welcome.
Is there any more questions for anybody? Mark, do you have any questions?
Oh, there.
Yeah. I'm still trying to talk. Yeah, Jen, I was just going to ask, has it got any prominence with the school board itself to go to other schools?
I received a letter from our Director of Education thanking me for creating this design. I had some of like my bosses, 4 ladies came in to take a tour of it. It is the hopes that it is going to get out in other schools. So I'm excited for that. I think it's a really great initiative. Like we use it in the classrooms, but to have it outside in our playgrounds to be more inclusive that way, asking kids to play, is a great tool as well.
You gotta turn yours off so I can turn mine on. Okay, has anybody else got any questions? No? Mark, can you hear us?
Through you, Chair, we did lose Councillor Kinney for a moment. I think he's trying to connect again, so I'll let you know when he pops back on.
Yes.
So the idea is this speaks back to you? Is that what, you press it, you press the
No,
symbol and it speaks back to you? Is that the
No, it's
idea?
not it's just a picture symbol on a board.
Okay.
So you would just model it by pointing, let's see if I can go back to the design here. So here I would say, I want washroom, right?
Gotcha.
You would model it that way just by pointing with your finger.
Okay.
It's a low-tech device.
Gotcha.
Okay, I have one question. It's going to probably sound really silly, but we'll ask it. What happens if you come across a child who's, let's say, visually impaired and has speech issues? then how do we accommodate that child?
Visually impaired, these aren't done in Braille or anything like that. The only other thing would be size of the image, if they could make out an image like that.
So do you think that would be something that we'd have to include, or would Braille be just as simple?
I'm not sure. I
Did-
can give you an honest answer on that one.
The reason why I'm asking is I want to make sure every
I-
child's
I,
included,
100%
every
hear
child.
you,
Like,
yeah.
I don't want that, a child, let's say, who's visually impaired, comes to a park, and she can't see the symbol, or he can't see the symbol. So we, if we could, we could just figure out a way to include every child.
I'm wondering if the letters of the alphabet could be Braille? I don't know. I
Is
could look
that-
into that.
Is that something you could research?
I could definitely
And
look
you could
into
get
it,
back
yeah.
to
Jen? Sure.
Jennifer, and
Yeah.
Jennifer, you could get back to, thank you.
Yeah, I can definitely look into that. That'd be one way to include it, do the alphabet in Braille.
Very good idea. Okay, Mark Kinney's still trying to get online. Is there anybody else got any questions? You look like you're thinking. Come on, Vic.
I was just going to ask, I guess you said, I want to go to the washroom. Can they just press washroom and you
They
would
could
know?
do that
Yeah,
too, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
It's for, various levels of communication skills. If they have lower communication skills, they can just literally point to washroom or point to hurt, or stop, right?
Well, I think as, me personally, as chair of the committee, I think it's a phenomenal idea.
Thank you.
I think it's something that Wasaga Beach will be doing first again. And to include children in this is just, like we've got, children that aren't disabled that can get around parks, but we have to think of our disabled community as well. And I think you've come up with a phenomenal idea.
Thank you.
Extremely proud of the work you've done. And you should be proud of all the work you've done as well.
Thank you. It's a real
And
passion for me.
the other thing I was going to bring up is I'm on the accessibility committee for Simcoe County. And maybe you should or I'll try and see if I can get in touch with Simcoe County and see if maybe you could do the same presentation there
Wonderful, thank you.
at the county level. Like I said, I think this is a phenomenal idea. I don't want to beat it to death, but if we could do the Braille and letters and every child is included, man, you got my support.
Thank you.
Be very proud of yourself.
Thank you very much. I'll look into that today.
Yes, Councillor Kinney, you're up, sir.
Thanks, Fred. I hope everybody can hear me now, and I apologize for the connection. The weather's not the greatest up here. Jen, if you can hear me,
Yes.
what's your thoughts on trying to keep uniformity within the sign? So when a youth sees one, say at St. Mary's, and they come to Mills Park, can't hear you again. I'm guessing you can't hear me.
Yeah, I can answer. The symbols that we use is a very popular software system that's BoardMaker. So the symbols that would be on the board would be seen in the school systems as well.
Okay. If I mean, it's a great thought process, and I'm behind it 100%. My only thought process would be to, as Laura said, maybe a cost sharing between Public Works and talking to Kevin about insulation, especially since we're doing Mills Park now. But I'm hoping we can get them in the other parks, because right now we're looking at probably in a and 12. So factor that cost factor in too. Thanks, Fred.
Thank you very much, Mark Kinney. So you're done. Is anybody got any other questions before I let this young lady leave?
Thank you, Chair. Before Jen steps away from the table, I don't have a motion on the agenda today because I was waiting to hear what committee's thought process was. So I guess maybe from what I'm hearing is to refer her presentation back to staff for a report to come back to committee on the matter. Would that be an appropriate motion?
I think that's perfectly appropriate. I think we could have a motion on the floor to refer
Jen Harvey.
Jen Harvey back to the town committee, and it can be brought back to our next meeting in September. So if I get a motion on the floor, I'd appreciate that. I need a motion. Laura, Jen, and Al. All in favor?
Yeah.
Carrie, thank you very much. And once again, lovely presentation. I will get in touch with you on the other issue. And like I said, be extremely proud of yourself because once again, we're going to be with Wasaga Beach first.
Yes, it's awesome.
You know, we were first with the Moby Mats, and now we're going to be first with this. And I think we've got a phenomenal community. We got a lot of good people in this community, so, and a lot of great people on this committee.
Yes, thank you for all the work you do.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me. Bye.
Okay, next on the agenda is the Accessibility Accreditation Initiative, and that would be by Councillor Mark Kinney. Update?
Fred, I believe we have, or we're at the stage where we're selecting a small type business for a soft rollout of the project. My understanding is that we, in our agenda packages, should have gotten a list of, I believe there's 5 of them. One outside of the town. That makes 6, sorry. 6 of them, one outside of the town, but 5 within the town. And it's up to the committee to debate and see where they want to do the soft release, because everything else is in order.
Okay, Councillor Kinney, that sounds really good. Is there any questions for Councillor Kinney? Yes, John.
Yeah, just a comment on the list, Chair. Breaking Down Barriers is not who I was recommending. I was recommending the Home Hardware at the end of 45th. So if we can change that, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, can you change that for us, Laura?
Hi, Mark. I'm not sure if you copied that, but I can change that on
I
the list
did.
for you. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, no, that's perfect, Laura. And through Fred, now it's a matter of picking which one we want to do the soft rollout in. And to John, that's my mistake. I apologize.
Okay, Councillor Kinney. So that decision, can you have a short meeting with your committee sometime before the next meeting?
Well, he's asking for the committee to just, now that we have the list, if you guys would like to pick today and proceed with a test.
I don't have I can't see that list. Oh, there it is, okay.
Instead of John's being,
So this one's out.
it's just Home Hardware instead, is what it
Okay, so okay, Councillor Kinney, I'm sorry. So it's Home Hardware or the Gaming Beach Treats? Granny Beach Treats. So I'll put my reading glasses on. And the Jewel Box, Georgian Bay. And the Iron Skillet. Or Esso on 45th Street. So the problem is with picking here, I prefer if it was done in private.
Fred,
Yes,
if
I can't hear him. Can you text the questions?
the committee your recommendation of getting our subcommittee
Can you try talking this way now?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
Okay,
Just mute your computer.
Thank you, Councilor Kenny, we couldn't hear it. No, my suggestion was,
commuter is muted.
okay, you gotta pull away from the mic. Okay, my suggestion was, we've got the businesses here, and rather than the whole committee select right now, I was thinking, and my thought process was that you have a small meeting with your subcommittee, and maybe they could pick it, and then we could bring it to the next meeting here.
Fred, if you can hear me,
Yep.
I agree with what you're saying. My issue right now and my feedback is my iPad is responding at the same time as my phone. So what I could do, Laura, if you can hear me,
Yep.
I can further do the committee through my phone and just turn off my iPad. That way you won't get feedback.
That's good, thank you.
Yep, that works.
That works for Mark, Councilor Kenny, we couldn't hear you. So anyways, on the subject here with these businesses, did you want to go through these with your subcommittee, or did you want us to pick a business right now? I would prefer the subcommittee, but you're chair of this committee, so you make your decision.
Okay, Fred, my thought is exactly what you're saying, is to reconvene our subcommittee, and then we evaluate the small businesses, and then come to committee next month with a recommendation of where to do it.
Okay, that sounds good. I really appreciate if you did that. I just don't want to go through this list right now with,
Sounds good.
okay, so Councilor Kenny, I can leave it in your trusty hands to get your subcommittee?
Yep, I'll talk to Laura later, and we'll set up a meeting.
Okay, before you go on this one issue, Al had a question.
Yep, go ahead. I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't.
No, you're okay. Okay. All right, Mark, that's it. While I got you now, the residential initiative program. I forget who's, Mark, you're running that. Can you give us an update on that, please?
Yes. My understanding is, and I'm not quite sure, Laura could fill in, but a thought process was to send the complete policy to George Van Vacour, our CAO, who is in support of the program to start with, but he has vast knowledge in policies, and to have him review it and give feedback. Now, Laura,
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether or not I saw it or not, or did George have the time to give that feedback back?
So through you, Chair, the CAO did respond in an email with some edits to the program, and he has also requested to meet with Councillor Kenny and myself just to discuss some of the edits and then to bring back a revised edition of this to committee.
Okay, Laura, with your permission, Fred, are we able to do that, knowing that our CAO is busier than ever, within the next month, so we can get this to the committee so that we can move forward?
Yes, he advised to just make sure that we can book that through just some time on his calendar when he has an opening, but he's more than happy to meet with us sooner than later.
Perfect. Now, Laura, would you be able to resend those edits to me, because I've looked and I couldn't find them on my work iPad,
Yep.
and probably just having a senior moment.
No problem, Councillor Kenny. I can forward those.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Fred.
Okay, Councillor Kenny, so you're done with that. And I guess while I have you, might as well get everything out of the way. Did you want to do the town update? Any updates from the town for us?
Oh, I'd love to, Fred. I would love to. Well, as everybody can see, we're moving and doing our best to move forward with what's happening down on Beach Drive. Obviously, because we're still in negotiation, we can't release too much, but that being said, I know our hopes are high on council that we can get a deal moving quicker or sooner than later. All you've got to do is drive out River Road West, and you see that the Twin Pad Arena and the library is moving gangbusters ahead. So we're pretty happy about that. And I know the head committee that looks after that are doing a great job keeping everything on track and within budget, which is quite nice. Other things that we're working on, I know there's a couple of motions before council, one being revolving around climate change. I did put a motion towards council with regards to looking at putting or reducing the speed by our playgrounds to 40. That was sent back to staff, rightfully so, for their thought process, because they know what they're doing a lot more than I do. I just come up with the ideas, Fred, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. That would be it, Fred. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kenny. So I can just move on now. Thank you for your update and all the hard work you're doing on this committee. Thank you very much. Laura, 7.2, the MobiMat purchase.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, I had reached out to, I think, did we discuss it at the last meeting? I can't remember. Or did I just reach out in an email? We had some residents reach out to us about having, why aren't there mats on more beaches across the town, specifically more in the Allenwood, New Wasaga Beach area. So I reached out to the park, because the park, in coordination with the town, puts the mats out and rents out the chairs. The town just was able to purchase those and a couple years ago, and then now the parks takes over. I did speak with the superintendent there, and they're doing right now a major accessibility review overhaul of all their beaches. And unfortunately, in that area right now, they just can't support the mats due to the type of sand and the way the parking lot is out there. It's a sandy parking lot, so you're getting out into sand. And unfortunately, a lot of people coming out of their accessible units or vans are getting stuck right away. So to have the mats out there and to promote people to drive out there and to get stuck just doesn't make sense right now. So we do hear the residents' concerns, and we are looking into types of things we can purchase, along with the parks are looking at what they can do in terms of infrastructure overhaul and all that kind of stuff there. So I am working with the parks right now. We won't be able to purchase a mat for that area, but definitely once I get a follow-up, which we're hoping this fall, once summer's done, they have a little bit more time to review all the matters in their parking lots. They have an accessible person dedicated to the review, and they're going to get a report back to us. And then the town, I've noted that we're willing to work with them on that review and anything we can do to help, because obviously I know it's a goal of this committee and of the town to promote the accessibility, especially when it comes to the mats and chairs. So as soon as I get an update back from the park about all the spots that would be the best places, we'll make sure that we can get the mats we do have out there, and also the budgeted item we have to purchase more in the future. Hopefully we can get that next summer.
Okay, before we go on, has anybody got any questions for Laura about these MobiMats? No? Okay. Laura, do you have anything else from the town?
Not in regards to the MobiMats. That's where we're at right now, so I will definitely be back with a future update.
Thank you. And while I have you, do you have any more updates from the town, like that from your? Yeah.
Sure. Next on the agenda there, we are just following up In regards to, as you're all aware, back in June, we did a food drive at Foodland in town, which was very successful, and the committee noted their interest in doing another one. I was able to speak with Foodland, and they are more than willing and happy to have us back again. And, I asked him what maybe some good dates would be, and we thought, obviously, lining up with a Thanksgiving food drive would be great. So we're looking at Saturday, October 1st to do another one, and I've reached out to the fire department to see if they're willing to send over a truck again so that we can fill a truck. So that's where we're at right now, but it looks like pending the availability of the fire department, as long as committee members are good with that, we can get a nice haul in for the Thanksgiving weekend.
Thank you, Laura. Just, the last one we did was, we got a lot of food. I think we filled up the rescue truck. And we got a lot of cash donations. And what we did was we just turned around, took the cash, and we bought food, more food, because we didn't want to bring cash back. So we bought more food. The food bank was very appreciative of what we did. And the food bank usage is just growing more and more exponentially because of the times we're in. So if the committee would see it fit, we got a lot of positive feedback from the town. Maybe we could, yes, sir.
If I may make a comment, I believe that the committee's doing a fantastic job with regards to, and Laura was able to give me the information with regards to the food bank, and I think that's awesome with your food drive. But I do have a thought. Maybe you or somebody on the committee could reach out to the food bank and ask them whether or not, in their thoughts, would it be more productive for them to get the cash and then they go out to buy the food that they see their shelves don't have, or does it make sense for the committee just to go in and buy food? Just my thought.
Yep. Hi, Mark. I can respond to that. When we originally reached out to them for the first food drive there, they actually gave me a list of items they do need, and that's kind of what Mike made some those pre-made bags up with most of those items, but also that money that I took in that we cash donations, we purchased the stuff that was on their list as well. But if we want to, I can reach out again and just say, hey, we did get cash this time around. Would you rather that to buy the items yourself, but usually I stick to the items that they want on their list.
Awesome, Laura, but I just in the back of my mind see that the food bank themselves go through high spots and low spots, and sometimes a food drive doesn't mesh up with a low spot, but they do have the ability as a charitable organization to hold funds, and that's when the funds get used. When good organizations just don't have the ability to do a food drive for them, if you follow my thought process.
Yes, I do. I just, I would have to clarify in terms of, because it is on behalf of the food bank, I'm just not sure if certain amounts require a receipt to be provided at the time of a donation. I don't know when it comes to that stuff, but you're right, that such things like their freezer and fridge items, people obviously can't buy that day, so they might need, they might appreciate the cash to buy those items later on.
Well, if we can, as a committee, look into that, I just want to make it as efficient and good for the food bank as we can.
No problem. I will give them a call today.
Okay, so if the committee,
Thank you.
if the committee doesn't mind, maybe Laura, I could task you with contacting the food bank and talking to George Vanderkroon, find out if we do take donations, what forms have to be filled out on the town's end. So what I really need is a motion to do another food drive. I think it's fantastic, and I really hope we get a motion. Kevin? And Mark will second it. All in favor? Thank you, carried. And we did the council update, now it's just the committee members update. Yes, sir, Al.
I'd like to bring up two successes that we've had this month. Now, everybody's aware that we've been talking about the Foodland Plaza, okay? And people to get in there that's on scooters or on wheelchairs have to drive on the road. Laura and I met with the property manager this month, and he's agreed to put in a path right off to the public sidewalk, right down to, in other words, with the ramp. So they don't even have to go around the loop. So this is he's gonna have to do a schematic, what is it, a drawing of some kind? And yeah, an engineering, he says probably it'll happen in the fall because getting all this done, they're busy and everything else. So hopefully that's gonna be done this fall. And then another positive thing, remember we've been talking about the poison ivy on the trails. I finally got to the property manager, I had to talk to him 3 different times, and he's agreed to cut all the foliage around the edges of the paths, which includes the poison ivy, so he's gonna bring it down to nothing. So, and he also said he's gonna do it with all the trails in Wasaga Beach.
Hey, Vic, can you do me one more favor then? We have another invasive plant, which is even worse than poison ivy. It's that hog plant.
What? I'm sorry?
Yeah, I know, but can they double check, make sure we don't have those hog plants growing in the same area?
So did they grow along the edges of the trails? Do
They'll
you know?
grow anywhere, and apparently if you, like if you get it on your skin,
Yeah.
you touch your face, you can go blind. It is very invasive. It grows like crazy, and it makes people extremely sick. So what I'm asking, Vic, it's a good idea with the poison ivy, but could you also get him to kind of have a quick look? The hogweed plant is not, it's not part of Canada. It was brought in as an invasive species, and it's killing all the other plants.
But if he's cutting the foliage,
If you could just check the trails and make sure we're not getting that plant either.
okay,
If you don't mind, Vic, I mean, that's really good with the poison ivy. That's phenomenal. Thank you.
okay, all right.
You're doing a good work, Phil. And the sidewalk you're talking about.
Yep.
Is it, when, you know, you come for the set of lights
Yeah, that's where it
and you
is.
come up, because you have to go on the road then, right?
No, oh, now you
Now
have to
you
go-
do, you have to
yeah,
go on the road.
Yeah,
So you're talking about coming up those lights. There's gonna be a
Yeah.
little,
you go on the public sidewalk.
yeah.
And then right now, there's bricks there, like, yeah, garden bricks of some kind. And you get to the end of that, it's quite long. It's probably from here to where you are, if not longer, and it's got a kind of a bend into it. We originally were talking about that, but then when we got talking, he agreed to do it. As soon as you come off the public sidewalk, within 2-3 feet, he's gonna cut through some foliage that's there, and it's gonna work out. If that becomes.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's real good.
Because I've been there on a few times. I've had to take that myself, and it's extremely dangerous right now.
Yeah, we talked about that,
Yeah,
yes.
so good work,
Yeah. No,
Vic.
she's,
and Laura, good work on both of
Yeah,
you.
thank
And like I said, if you just look it up when you get home, look up that
Okay.
hogweed plant.
can you write it down for me? I'll get it from you.
Yeah,
Okay.
like that plant, it makes people, actually, it's killed a few kids.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and it's not native to Canada, it was brought in, and there's no natural killer for it. They'll grow up to 8 feet tall.
Okay, all right, I'll get it from
So
you.
thank you, Vic, that with the food line, it's just, that's great, because that is extremely
Yeah,
dangerous.
that was the, yeah.
Thank you.
Laura.
Okay, Kevin. You got anything you got to bring up? Al?
Nothing, thank you, Fred.
Okay, Vic, are you done? Thank you very much. Jen?
No, nothing, thank you.
Thank you very much. And John?
What? Yeah, through you, Chair, I just was thinking, I have a question. We're dealing with it on another project, but 2025, with respect to the AODA, is when all existing buildings are supposed to be renovated to the effect of the requirements of the AODA in terms of accessibility. We got a list, Laura, or Mark, or whoever, building department, as to where our buildings stand in the town at this point with respect to the requirements of 2025? Any building?
No, but you said our building.
No, I'm talking about one, Clearview is one I'm involved in, and I'm just wondering what the status is in Wasaga Beach.
Through you, Chair, the manager of director of facilities, I've worked with him on a number of projects as they pop up here and there with, like, you know, adding buttons or adding the censored hand in water and all that kind of stuff. So we work on a little bit of a project at the time. In terms of the buildings overall, as we, you know, for example, we've acquired like the archives building, and that will require some updates for sure. The town buildings, because we are the public organization, we are, to my knowledge, up to date on all of the requirements. Having said that, minus, you know, here we're working on the access to the second floor through, instead of the lift via an elevator, which we're hoping for funding for, but we do offer at the front counter that anybody who's on the second level can be called down to support anybody down here, full services on the main floor if they don't wish to go up using the lift. But to my knowledge, and apart from new facilities that are coming forward that are totally retrofitted with everything, the buildings are all in compliance. I can reach out to the director to get a confirmation email, and at that point he could say, oh, maybe we're doing this or we're changing that. But same with like access to the town park, pathways to the beach and stuff like that. Those are all required to be kind of, you know, to the standard and code.
Okay,
And to my
Al,
knowledge, they are.
Okay, Al, you got a question for John? Okay, John, you got anything else you got to bring up, or?
Okay. One thing we discussed at our, sorry, I'm sorry, John, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just wondering, through you, Chair, if anybody's heard anything or any feedback officially that date's going to change or slide, or?
No, through you, Chair, I haven't seen, we get almost the immediate updates as a municipality from the ministry. At this time, I haven't seen anything to that. I know we're fast approaching it, so whether or not that happens, I don't know, but no update saying, it might happen. At this point, it's still, that's the date.
Okay, John? Okay, Al, yes. I'll get names right one day. Vic?
No problem. Anyway, our last meeting, we were talking about that as you get to the end of the sidewalk along down by the beach there in Beach 1, before you get up into the wooden, boardwalk, yeah. Remember we talked about there was sand? Yes. And has anything been done about that? Because I haven't been down there.
I was going to say, I'm not sure if you've been down there. Sorry, through you, Chair. When we left last meeting, I did contact the manager of foreman on duty, and they went down the next week and ensured all the pathways from Point A, like Spruce Street, all the way down to the parks. Beach 2 was all cleared. There was some sand pockets. They did want us to note that, you know, to have a guy down there every day at this point isn't a possibility, but when you see that or there's an issue, they do have a guy that goes every certain amount of time to ensure those paths are kept. But the way the wind's been lately, they said they could turn around after doing it and the sand patch is going to be back there in an hour. So they just don't have that manpower to be there 24/7, but they absolutely appreciate us giving them a heads up, and they will do as many sweeps of the area, sweeps, punny, as possible.
Thank you.
Okay, Vic. Vic. You got anything else? You're fine. You're fine, Vic? Any other questions? I know, guys, I'm bad with names. Give me a break. Anyways, if no one else has got any questions, I think we can adjourn. Oh, the next meeting.
So, through you, Chair, the actual first Thursday in September is September 1st. However, I am
Long
not
weekend.
available that day due to another obligation here, so I have put in tentatively September 8th, which is just the following Thursday, if that's okay with everybody.
Is everybody okay with September 8th? Yes, sir.
To Laura, I'm thinking that should be okay with CC, because that would be the second, because I don't know what our meetings are in September. But I'm good with the 8th now.
I'm just going to double check that, Mark. You're right. Let me just see for sure. Sorry, so we're good to go. CC this September is on the 15th mark, so the 8th should be okay.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kenny. Can you stay on the line after the meeting, please? Mark?
Sure.
Thank you. All right, so September 8th is the next meeting of 2022. If anybody's got nothing to bring up, we can adjourn this meeting. So if I get a motion to adjourn, oh, Kevin's going to adjourn it, thank you. Vic's going to second it, thank you, Vic. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, carried.